My name is Amber Spivey. I teach at Berrien Academy in Nashville, Georgia. I primarily teach biology and environmental science and physical science. I'm working with Dr. Babu Srinivasan and Stan Diffie. Here at UGA Entomology, I have been assisting student workers with harvesting plots for their trials. I've assisted in grading those harvests and recording that data. Here recently I've started working in the lab using some DNA technology to identify if a plant, which is asymptomatic, or even if they have symptoms, to truly detect the virus, to see if they have some of the specific viruses that the graduate students are looking for. The new GPS standards are moving towards really focusing on the DNA technology that is useful in agriculture and medicine and in forensics. Here at UGA Entomology, I've been dealing a lot with the DNA technology, looking at or just extracting the DNA, purifying it, running PCRs, doing electrophoresis to identify certain aspects of DNA that they're looking for. Using those lab techniques, I can take that back into the classroom and then teach my students those techniques, so when they graduate from high school, they are better prepared to work in a laboratory setting if they choose that field.
I have many students who thrive in hands-on activities in math, and the first thing that I witnessed here at the Lineman School was it's very hands-on. They have classroom time in the morning for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then it's out in the field climbing these poles, practicing for CDLs. It's been great to have the opportunity to work with the instructors, not only the students, and share with them some of the things that I do on a daily basis, teaching my 8th grade students, and giving them some positive encouragement on what they're doing as far as teaching these guys. I've been able to work with the students in the classroom as well, teaching the math section of the CAS test, which the guys are required to take while they're here at school. So it's been a wonderful opportunity. I'm so excited to be the first participant for Dade County, and I hope that we are able to continue being a part of the GIFT program.
D-Skill is where we use computers and automation type of features, but yet we're still using human resource to move the package, but we're using the intelligence of those systems to provide information and de-skill the jobs.
Bruce Gunning gave me the task of bagger efficiency. So basically we have a process where the packages go on a bullfrog or a tilt tray, which is basically a conveyor belt, and they fall into various bags depending on the location. The bagger is the person who zips the bag, puts a label on the bag, and puts it on the conveyor belt for it to go to its destination. The problem is that if there are more than 100 packages going to a location, after the 100th package, it shuts down the entire conveyor belt. So we needed to find a way to up the number of packages that can go into a bag so that when the bagger gets to that number, it's less likely for the machine to shut down.
The teacher comes in, and Frederick is my second GIFT student that I've had, and they come from a world that I'm teaching concepts, and there's an answer in the back of the book. There's always an answer in the back of the book. Coming into a world in the industry, you find that the biggest problem is defining the problem. So there's not even a problem in the book yet. You gotta develop that. Getting to the solution is often the easy part.
Just a small answer on a problem affects everyone in a company, which is what I want my students to understand. Although you're doing this small math that you think you'll never see again, it's really going to be something that can affect globally everything that you're dealing with. I had all of this information to do, and it came down to this one small product, and that's what math is. You have this big, wide amount of information, and you take math to make it smaller.
One of the things that we have with Superintendent Barge, one of his initiatives has been his focus on having every student to select a career pathway. Career pathways are very important, but because are related to the ideas of college and career readiness, in which K-12 education has something to do more than just what happens inside the high school or elementary school. It has to go beyond that. It has to prepare students for what they're going to do in real life. So under this idea of career pathways, students need to have some information, some experiences about what people in different careers and different jobs do. And the way that they acquire these experiences is through their interaction with teachers. And this is where the GIFT program comes in, because one of the problems that we have is that we as teachers, sometimes we don't have the experiences of what other people do. We are very good at working inside our classrooms and teaching our content, but when we try to bring that content into real life, into real situations, we don't have the expertise to do that because we have never experienced what an engineer or a university professor or electrician or a carpenter do in their daily life. So the GIFT program provides teachers with those type of experiences, brings them outside the classroom, puts them in an environment in which they learn what happens during the day with one of these professions, being an electrician, being a line technician, a professor at university. And giving them that experience, then they empowers them to take that experience and bring it back into the classroom, to transfer that into type of lessons that can enrich the daily instructional activities. So that's what the beautiful part of this GIFT program is for Georgia.
I work on the structured property relationships in all classes of materials, and one of the things that I'm interested in possibly doing is using some polymers that have been recycled for making certain devices. Recycled polymers have actually been used in a lot of construction and different objects, but I'm interested mostly in the electronic properties, and so that's how I got into it. But then it occurred to me that it was even more useful for the students to actually become more familiar, what does a number 2 recycle number mean? And so part of their job was to collect some of these items, and then in the lab we have been using different techniques such as FTIR, which actually gives us a signature that identifies what the polymer is. And then we've also had them use the optical microscope to see what features may be visible in the optical range. It is also important for them to learn that not everything can be seen with an optical microscope. Many times you have to use a more advanced electron microscope, either a scanning electron microscope or a transmission electron microscope. And so we're doing demos of those for them, but they have actually done a lot of hands-on work this summer.
This year I have all girls here in my student team. That's been great for them to even see different women in the field of engineering. That's just totally amazing, because they get to see that, oh, this is achievable for me. I can do this. There's somebody else out there who's already done it. They're doing it, so it helps to build their confidence. It helps with exposure to them. Just being on the campus itself, the atmosphere, the excitement that they feel being down here. They were so excited to get their Georgia Tech ID passes, That was really cool for them. So all of this gives them such a great experience. So, that's why I really value and appreciate the GIFT program.